Hi, everyone, and welcome to this Keptn community and developer meeting. Today it's May 6th. It's the week of KubeCon, yeah, we have quite a big crowd here today, despite KubeCon. So really cool. Thanks everyone for joining. We have quite a long list on the agenda that we want to go through. First of all, it's a CNCF, Keptn is a CNCF project, as you all know, so we are also following the CNCF Code of Conduct. Please abide to this Code of Conduct. Yeah, if you are at KubeCon this week, make sure to also join us. We do have another office hour tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. With the Keptn maintainers and also Keptn contributors. So there will be also folks from the community, from the Keptn community joining tomorrow. You will find the link here. We're still looking for a code owner for our notification service. So if you have experience in developing Keptn services or want to join the Keptn community and want to be a Keptn contributor, then the notification service is one of the services that we're looking for contributors. So feel free to reach out to us and maybe take on ownership of this repo or just help us here in migrating this to work with the latest version of Keptn. What we also created in the last week is a way for you to explore Keptn if you're not familiar with Keptn right now, to explore Keptn without the need to install Keptn. So there is a public demo cluster for you available, and you can, it's a read-only cluster, and you can click through Keptn and experience quality gate evaluations, the promotion mechanisms of Keptn, how SLOs are defined in Keptn. So all that you would do with your own Keptn installation, but you can do it in a read-only installation, and there is a schedule of new deployments and tests and everything around Keptn on this cluster. So I just got pinged from someone. Sorry for this. Okay, so I think for the ecosystem, we know a couple of folks are working on integrations, but nothing to announce for this week. And so we are coming now to the part where we actually, it's kind of a poll. The next two dates for our community and developer meetings are conflicting either with public holiday or with other duties of the Keptn core maintainers. So first question is, for next meeting, it's a public holiday for a lot of our Keptn core maintainers. Should we cancel next week's meeting? It will be on a Thursday. It would be a public holiday. So I guess, are there any objections to not cancel the meeting? Okay, because I think it will be mostly, otherwise a lot of you cannot join. So I will reach out to the CNCF to also remove the next week's meeting from the calendar, and we will cancel next week's meeting. For the meeting on May 20th, do we want to move it to 4 p.m. instead of 5 p.m.?
What's the reason for that?
For the conflicting appointment at Dynatrace from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Oh, see it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe a quick vote of hands. Who wants to move it? So I can just see it here in the, yeah, that's the majority. Majority wants to move it. Okay, so let's just put it action items. Calendar organizers to adjust meetings. Okay, so I will have this done, and so I'm handing over already to Airman. Before that, are there any questions on the things I just announced here? Okay, if not, Airman, please take it away.
Cool, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm going to present a pull request in Keptn's bridge today. Actually, this one also allowed me to have insights into the shipyard controller. it's about supporting more advanced staging environments. And here we have a request that in case that, I will show you the details just here, we have multiple stages that all derive from the same parent stage, or in this case have the same trigger, should be also visualized in the bridge in the environment screen. So you saw the you saw the shipyard, and previously in Keptn's bridge we would show in the environment screen just a list of all stages that have been configured in your shipyard file. You lose here the information, which sequence is first and which stage is first and which one is last. Obviously, the order is from left top and like you read, but it's very difficult to know that or to find that out. And you also lose the information that production A, B, and C derive from the production stage. So the production stage is the parent of those 3 stages. And now the bridge will show you this a little bit different. For the production A, B, and C stages, you will see that they are parallel. In this case, they are stacked here after the production stage. That's basically, I don't have a deployment here, but of course, when you select the stage, you see the details of that stage. And also you have this scroll bar now. So if you have many stages and from dev in staging, from staging in production, from production in production A, B, and C, which could be 3 custom environments, you see those details now in your environment screen. That's all about it. Are there any questions?
Ermin, I think the issue itself also included a change of the width of the middle part, meaning that we give it a little bit more space.
Yes, there are still some UI details, so this pull request is still open, and I'm working on those small details. As you can see, also the scroll bar is not properly aligned here with some paddings, and so this is some CSS details which I'm working on still. And also, we will reduce the amount of this details on the right side, so we have more space here for this visualization.
What about the lines that are drawn in the screenshot between the stages? Are they also planned?
No, this is actually, this would require us to have a Canva, or draw these elements on a Canva. Currently, we just use CSS and these boxes, and stack them here in a horizontal and vertical grid in this case. I don't see the benefit of these lines, actually.
Not yet, let's put it like this, but I can definitely use them in GitHub Actions, and that's a real benefit there, I'd say, because you can see if you skip a stage. So for instance, what if you want to group your stages based on production, but you say for customer C, you're skipping staging, but you want to group it there. So, but that's a more advanced topic.
Yeah,
so
that would be a more advanced topic. Also, we would need to support that in the core. But I see could be an enhancement there in the future. Currently, you just have it in that order, and vertically stacked if they are parallel. Two more things that I just want to mention here is, let me just find those 2 bugs in the bridge that have been found. One was in quality gates only use case. we had the problem that, in case that you have a sequence that is named evaluation, or that has the same name as a task in your shipyard, it breaks the bridge. And you have several parts of the bridge UI that are broken and not working. For example, you don't see the heat map in the services screen, the environment screen is broken, and so on. So that was fixed. And one more detail also in the integrations page, the bridge shows, or previously we had the feature here that the start time was here parsed and displayed by the bridge, so that you just can copy and paste this comment. And for some reason this was not working anymore, and this is now also fixed again, and it will show you here the current time and update every minute. So you have here always the current time, and you can just copy and paste this command. And if your environment variables, project stage, and service are set, or replace those parameters, you can trigger an evaluation with this command. That's actually from my side, and I'm handing over to Elisabeth.
Okay, thank you. So I just share my screen. So what did I do this sprint? So maybe you have already seen it at Ermin's screen. I improved or minified the navigation for the Captain's Bridge. So it's that the main content gets more space now. I've chosen with an UX expert the appropriate icons for that, and also you can, so the information which screen is hidden behind the icon is also not lost. So there is a tooltip for your convenience, so that you can just use it. So yeah. So,
Elizabeth, can you share the screen, please?
didn't I do?
I can see it.
Neither do I, so it's not shared.
Sorry.
There
Perfect.
we go.
I think there was something went wrong there. Oh, okay. So that then I have to start anew. Okay, so the content is now a bit has more space now, because the menu is shrinked a little bit, and yeah, as you can see, the appropriate icons were chosen, and also the tooltips show which screen is hidden behind it. So hopefully it's now a bit more tidied up. So the next thing I did is a small quality of life improvement. So if you take a look at the evaluation, it's now possible to jump directly to the build artifact, or to the services. So this is I think this is very nice, and a really nice shortcut. Also should work here. And if you have just quality gates, it's also possible to get the information from the appropriate stage. The third thing I worked on is the new settings page for the Git upstream repository. As you can see, I already configured one for my sock shop. So this information is loaded already from the API. And we can try to set one here. So I just add anything. As you will see, I get an error because the Git upstream is not properly configured. Yeah, it could not be set, but yeah, okay. So now it's, so this is I think also very nice, because you are now able to configure your Git upstream from the bridge and not use the CLI. there's something else to mention here. Yeah, accordingly, the entry point here is also adapted, so it's linked directly to the settings page. Otherwise, there was some bug fixes or a lot of bug fixes for me this sprint. The most important, I think, are that the notification that popped up more times than once if you toggled the version check. It's now gone, so there should be only one notification, so you don't get spammed with it. There was a small issue with the project picker, so this is also fixed, so this works properly again. I just yeah, this is the same thing. We also had a minor issue with displaying a changed event, or yeah, event in the bridge. It showed started, so it's now changed again, so that the view is now proper. Otherwise, yeah, I think that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thanks. So I'll continue. So my sprint had a lot of issues of type critical related to the integration tests, and some bug fixes, and then some smaller other tasks. Let's put it like this. So I have some links here regarding the integration tests. We did some minor fixes and we've improved some of the log output. There's nothing really worth mentioning here other than just saying that it was done. Then at the beginning of the sprint, we had a hotfix release for Helm service, which essentially there's a problem with the Helm service when you deploy it to the remote execution plane. I quickly want to show it because some others might have a similar issue at some point. So when you have a remote execution plane service and you're implementing your event handlers, and you know that your event handlers take a little bit of time before they respond, I recommend to run them within a Go routine, because then your handle code will eventually return nil quite quickly. And then the distributor that sent you the cloud event basically says, okay, fine, you received the cloud event, I'm done. We didn't have that, and due to timing issues with GitHub, for instance, our Helm service took quite a long time in this function, in this method here, and it took 30 to 40 seconds to respond, and eventually we ran into a timeout somewhere. So some weird timing issues, to be honest. Lesson learned, run it in a Go routine. So that's also what the hotfix release is about for Helm service. You don't need it if you run Helm within the same namespace as the control plane, but if you run a multi-cluster setup, you need the hotfix. Then a couple of follow-up issues, including this one, came from that bug. So we started to improve the distributor a little bit in terms of what if we have a slow service responding. So what if you forget to run it in a Go routine, yeah? And for that, we improved the so-called cloud events cache a little bit, such that, let me see where the code is. There we go. So before, there was a Go routine that was sending the event, and if sending the event was successful, we added it into the cache. We kind of do it the other way around now. We add it to the cache first, then we send the event, and if an error happened, we remove it from the cloud events cache, such that in the next loop of the distributor, we can do the same thing again. So this actually ensures that the event is eventually received by the receiving service, and it kind of makes sure that the event is cached and there's no duplicate events coming from this. Okay, any questions so far? Good. Then the next thing, I'm not going to go into details here, but just saying we have introduced a new linter, Golang CI lint into our build chain, and we've removed the old Go lint. We're hoping that our code review powered by ReviewDog is now a little bit more meaningful than just saying, hey, there is a comment missing. Then another bug fix for JMeter service. Essentially, there is a function in JMeter that checks for whether the endpoint that we're trying to test is reachable. But in certain scenarios, this service URL.host, the endpoint that we're trying to reach, does not have a port. So for instance, when you go to HTTP service name without any port, everyone would infer it's port 80, but unfortunately the dial timeout function of Go does not. So we had to work around this function a little bit here. It's actually a nice to know. That's why I'm presenting it. Okay, and last but not least, we upgraded all our microservices in Keptn Core to Go 1.16 and also upgraded our build process. And I'm also just showing you this quickly so you know what you might need to adapt for your Keptn Contrib and Keptn Sandbox services. So essentially, look into your GitHub workflows, check where Go version is set and increase it to 1.16. And in your Docker file, make sure you use a newer version for the builder image. So instead of Golang 1.13.7 Alpine, we're using 1.16.2 Alpine. And in the Go modules, obviously also just upgrade to Go 1.16 from Go 1.13. And last but not least, also don't forget to upgrade your local Go binary. So this is also going to all Keptn Core developers now. Upgrade your Go binary locally to 1.16. I think 1.13 will still work, but make use of the new features. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to finish one part of my task, which was to enable the build for Apple Silicon. I'm not an expert with macOS Golang builds. The only thing I really was able to extract from the logs is that it stopped somewhere around compiling the Helm package at this point here. This is where was the last message, and it stopped with an error. I can't really make out anything of this, so if anyone knows, please comment on this issue. Help us out here. Other than that, we cannot provide Apple Silicon or Apple M1 chip based binary. Okay, are there any questions or comments?
Not directly to your to your issues, but thanks, Christian, for presenting. I just wanted to jump in between because we see a couple of folks from the community joining, and also they added some items to the agenda. I just wanted to clarify that we kind of have a bi-weekly cadence in this community meeting. So for 1 week, we focus more on Keptn Core contributions, while on the other week, we focus more on community contributions. And for this week, we have a lot of Keptn Core maintainers presenting. And if there is time left at the end, we will also go through all the other agenda items. Unfortunately, myself, I will have to leave a little bit early. So Johannes will take over this part then. But I just wanted to announce that we do not forget about these items. Otherwise, we could just carry on and do them in the next meeting. But thanks everyone for joining. And if you have any more questions that cannot be addressed in these kind of meetings, then also please reach out in the Keptn Slack and get in touch with us. So sorry for interrupting here. And I think it's the next one is Florian, if I saw this correctly on the agenda.
That is correct. Let me share my screen. All right. So if you recall the last couple of community meetings, we showed you a couple of GitHub actions that we've implemented. So one for setting up a Kubernetes cluster with Keptn on it installed, and where we also add a Keptn project. Then another action to set up Dynatrace monitoring on that cluster and also installing the Dynatrace and Dynatrace SLI Keptn contrib services on them in order to set up the Dynatrace monitoring. And then finally, one action to send events to Keptn from within a GitHub action. And in this sprint, it was time to actually make use of those actions and to combine them into into a bigger picture that we had in mind here, which is the delivery of Keptn with Keptn, actually. So basically, if we click on if we go to the issue, so that's basically the picture we had in mind. So basically on our Keptn repository, if we merge a new feature, for example, and then do a nightly build, we have our GitHub action that does the unit tests, builds all the artifacts or the Helm charts and the CLI binary. And then that's missing in this picture here, but also, of course, the integration tests should be executed. And once that all has been successful, we would like to deliver this new Keptn version onto our, we call it Keptn meta instance, which basically is the Keptn that is used to monitor Keptn. And that's what I've done here in this pull request. Yeah, you can see I've tried it out a couple of times because to properly test it, I needed to trigger the workflow for that. But here is the end result so far. So after all integration tests have been added, so this has been added to the integration tests YAML workflow, we execute the step deploy Keptn with Keptn. And basically the requirements for that is that our Keptn meta instance is already available, and we do have a Keptn endpoint and Keptn API token for that. So those credentials are stored in our GitHub secrets, so the action can make use of that. And what we then need to do is we need to check out the code and also install the Keptn CLI in order to be able to authenticate with at our Keptn instance. And what we do afterwards is, after we have authenticated our CLI, we then upload the built artifacts that have been built previously in our continuous integration pipeline. So we add the resource for the Keptn core Helm chart and also the Helm service and the JMeter service Helm chart to our Keptn project. And then we use the send event GitHub action that Bernd implemented and already presented in the last, or in one of the last community meetings. And basically we use this action to trigger a new deployment. And as you can see here, we have this the deployment strategy set to user managed. And what we can also do is here we can add a label with the GitHub action run. And this will, you will see that in a second, provide us with a link back to the GitHub action in our Keptn bridge. And of course, the type of the event is sh.keptn.event.dev.delivery triggered. And yeah, next, let's go to our Keptn bridge. So this is the bridge of our Keptn meta instance. And as you can see here, today at 5:50 in the morning, the integration tests were triggered and executed successfully. And that finally led to the tested version being deployed via Keptn. So in the development stage, it was deployed automatically. So here we had successfully executed the deployment step. And here you can see the label that I mentioned earlier. So this is basically the the link back to the integration test GitHub action run. Yeah, and after it was deployed to dev, it was sent to deployed and hardening. Here we also executed a couple of tests and evaluated those. I think right now we don't have the evaluation enabled because we still need to write meaningful load tests. So that would be the next puzzle piece in this equation.
For Keptn core, it looks like the third one from the top has an evaluation. Like, yeah, these are free deliveries. Like you have Keptn core, JMeter and Helm, and the Keptn core seems to have an evaluation.
You're totally right. So we do actually have some load tests actually. So this is, which are very rudimentary, but this shows that the workflow in general works and that we can use our Dynatrace to evaluate or retrieve the values that we would like to evaluate. All right. So in that case, we reached a score of 75, which gave us a warning, but still it proceeded with going into the next stage. And here in production and production remote, we do need a manual approval. So yeah, let's just do that. So if we click here, then the deployment or the delivery workflow in that stage will continue. And also, while that is running, I can already accept this new version in the production remote. And you should now see, all right, here the Helm service already picked up on that approval and now deploys the new version also into production and production remote. All right, are there any questions about that?
So where would I put my JMeter files and my SLO and SLI files if I were to contribute to this now?
So you could, for example, add a new step here in this deploy Keptn with Keptn. And here after this step, you are authenticated with the Keptn CLI. And that would also be a potential place where you could upload JMeter load tests to the relevant stage. So in that case, the hardening stage.
So we would put the files in our Keptn repository and then add them here basically when we need them.
Exactly, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Does it make sense that we get the upstream repository from that Keptn meta instance somewhere? So publicly accessible for everyone, or does it not make sense?
So probably it would make sense, yeah. Yep, probably, yeah. We would need to look into it in more detail and discuss what the best way we want to follow in that case. But yeah, we can gladly discuss this in a meeting.
Yeah.
All right, if there are no further questions about that issue, I would like to continue with the next one. So that is an extension to the shipyard controller. Let's just wait. All right, here it is. So this is the pull request. So what we've done here is to add a new endpoint to the shipyards controller API, which will allow you to retrieve the current state of the task sequences for a certain project. So as you can see here in the Swagger doc, the path to this endpoint is /state/project. So the project parameter is required for that. And what that will allow you to do is you can also pass a page size in the next page key. So we have pagination supported here for this endpoint. And the response of that looks like that. So basically you will receive a an array containing the states of the task sequences within that project. And basically the information here tells you the name of the sequence. So the name that you have given in the shipyard YAML file, then also the service that this task sequence execution is affected by. Then of course the project, the time it has been started, then the Keptn context and the current state. So this can be either triggered or finished. Later on, we might have potentially additional states like queued, for example, if a task sequence execution is waiting for another execution to finish before it can actually start. And then further, you will also receive an array containing the stages that this sequence is affecting. So in that case, we have the staging stage, and this array also contains information about the latest evaluation. So if within that stage an evaluation has been performed, you will also see that here and also get the score and the result. And in general, also the latest event with the type of the latest event that has been received for that context in that stage, then the ID and also the time will be provided. There is one additional property that is missing here, but I will update the description afterwards appropriately. So you will also, if you, for example, have a delivery sequence that involves a deployment for a certain image, you will also get a property called deployed image, I think it's called, or last image. So this will basically indicate which image of a service has been deployed in that stage. And the reason behind that is that we would like to use this sequence state endpoint in the bridge to display the relevant information for our task sequences. So if you go to the bridge here, we will then be able to basically generate all the information that is shown here in this left column using that sequence state endpoint, and therefore we won't have to fetch all the event traces for all the task sequences and then create those information from all those responses. So this should enhance the performance quite a bit and lead to a lot less API calls being sent.
I have a quick question here. Does this, it only shows the last, or well, it only shows sequences that have been executed, right? It doesn't show all sequences that I have in my shipyard.
It shows the executions, right? So if one sequence hasn't been executed yet, this will not show up here.
And by what logic does it say that there's 2 evaluation sequences showing up, or even 3? Mm-hmm. So is it showing all?
Those are individual runs of this sequence with different contexts. So in that case, I've triggered the evaluation sequence 3 times, and those are the states for those.
Okay. So it's basically ordered by time, and if I have 100 evaluations, I get the state of 100 evaluations.
Exactly, yeah. But you can, of course, always limit the size of the response. So if you are only interested in that, just.
But I'm a little bit. I was a little bit confused because of the endpoint name, suggesting show me the state of the project, which would be, in my mind, it would be the I would like to see, okay, I have 4 sequences and maybe 3 of them are running or whatever, and something like that. So this is kind of, I wouldn't call it state in that sense. I would call it sequences rather, I'd say, because it returns a list of sequences. But technical detail here, just putting out. So maybe we discuss it in the PR.
I have also one question, or actually one additional filter that we will need for the bridge, since the bridge is polling for the events, and yeah, to get only the new sequences that are added on top, we would probably also need a filter by time, as we do now with the root events, to get only the sequences after a certain timestamp.
All right, I think we already have a follow-up issue where we added those extensions. I think the best way to go about that is to also add
it there.
Time filter there, yeah, so we can.
Okay, yeah. Great.
All right, that brings me to my last pull request for today. This is a bug fix for the distributor. So Christian already mentioned the Cloud Events cache briefly, which basically keeps track of the event IDs that have been sent out already in order to not send multiple instances of an event. And here we actually had a tricky error. Let me just go to the file so we can, yeah, so here we are. So basically what we had here is we, if we received multiple events via the HTTP polling feature, which is used by the remote execution plane mode of the distributor, we added those events to the cache after they've been sent. I think in the meantime, Christian already changed the logic to do that before the send event method. But nevertheless, we were iterating over an array of pointers to those events. And the sending of the event happened in a Go routine. And that means that this was invoked. And right after that, the loop was continued. And as soon as the next item from this array has been fetched, the pointer to the previous one has been overridden, and then the operation ce-cache.add for this event. There we already had the overridden pointer, and therefore only the last event in this list of events was added to the Cloud Events cache. And that has been changed by not going through the actual pointers, but to create a copy of the value of the event within the loop by accessing it via the index. So this one was a little bit tricky, but fortunately we found that, and now this mechanism is working correctly again. All right, are there any questions about that? All right, then I will hand over to Klaus.
Okay, so I will show some changes I've done in the bridge. Let me share my screen. Okay, so the first thing I've done is to introduce a service filter in the environment screen. So now you can filter by a specific service, and then only that service will be shown in the environment screen. And also if you, also the icons are also updated. If you just select cards, for example, the quality gates icon is gone because the cards DB doesn't have a failed quality gates. In addition to that, the filter is also saved. So if you switch go to services and go back, the filter is still here, or if you just refresh the page, it is still there unfiltered. And also this filter is applied for every project. So each filter of each project is saved.
But that was just a coincidence now that it is unleash DB and cards
Yeah,
DB,
I
right?
just
Yeah, okay.
enabled it before. That's why it was selected. Yeah. Yeah, this was the first thing. The next thing, maybe I forgot. Also, this stage tile on the right side is also filtered by the selected service. So if I select cards, only cards is enabled, etc. Okay, this was the first issue. Any questions?
Can I add multiple services? So can I have cards and cards
Yes.
DB up there?
Yes,
Yeah,
multiple.
Nice.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. So I will go to the next issue. The next one was the new timeline in the service screen. Now you see, it is visualized if a deployment is deployed in a specific stage. So, for example, for deployment 0.12.1, you don't see that this is filled in dev, evaluation is filled in dev or staging, and that means the deployment is not anymore in this specific stage. It is filled if the deployment is running in the stage. So yeah, here are the sequence, the evaluations, and for the other deployment, dev and staging is filled because it is currently deployed. Also, which is shown there, the deployment URL for the deployed artifacts. So yeah, also this is shown here for deployed ones and not for the things that are not deployed. Any questions to that?
So for 0.12.1, it is not shown because in dev and staging there's 0.12.2 currently?
Exactly. So it's there because this deployment exists in this stage and then in dev and in staging, but deployment 0.12.1 does not exist in dev or staging.
Okay, I get it. Johannes, maybe we need to take a look at that from a usability standpoint when you have a lot of stages and a lot of different versions, because then it gets a little bit annoying to find the correct deployment UI, I think, or the correct link.
True, because now I have to specify the particular deployment and then to get the deployment URL. Yeah.
Okay.
Something that we let's have a look on that one.
Okay, so yeah, that was it from my side. Any questions to that?
Just one question, Klaus. Does this timeline also work with the feature that Ermin was showing us with the multiple stages in parallel?
Not now, also not currently not. So it's just one line of the stages.
Okay.
Okay.
Super cool features.
Awesome.
I love it.
Really great work, yeah. All right, then let's have a look at the agenda. But what I can see is that, yeah, we reached the last item in this list. It's actually a question from someone of the community. Let me just ask the person to raise the hand, then I will allow you to speak. Thanks, I already can see it. Hi. Can I ask you to introduce yourself real quick?
Hello, I'm Aditya, and I basically an undergrad from India. Am I audible? Hello.
We can hear you. Hi.
Yeah. I was telling I'm Aditya, and I'm an undergrad here in India. And currently, I am contributing to like Rogue IoT, and I'm a part of Hack Club community. So looking forward to contribute to Keptn in the LFX event. That's all. I have the basic idea about the Kubernetes. So here, I don't remember the name of the meetup. Here, tell me about, learn about the webhooks and stuff about that. So not sure about webhook, but I have some background in Kubernetes. That's all.
Sorry, for me it's a little bit difficult to understand your question. There's a lot of background noise. Would it be possible to turn it off?
Is it better?
I think it's not better, yeah.
So my question was like, I'm not completely like in sync with the flow of Keptns. I have the background with Kubernetes, so anything which you can suggest me to get started.
Yep, I think the best starting point also to learn more about Keptn is first check out our website. It's keptn.sh/docs, and here just follow this quick start, which helps you to get started by creating your Kubernetes cluster, installing Keptn, the CLI, and then installing Keptn on the cluster. And when this is done, here we have a link of tutorials that help you to understand the concepts and all the approaches that Keptn tries to solve. You get, for example, a full tour how to use Keptn for delivery and also automating operations. And then there are different sub use cases like just the deployment or just the operations, and other ones for more testing focus. And here again, a validation tutorial. And when you click on that, you get then forwarded to our tutorials page. And this one, here you just select the Keptn version that you use, and recommend to use the newest one, 0.8. And here you can see then the different tutorials that we provide. Let's pick, for example, the first one, the Keptn full tour on Promisors. And this is then a step-by-step guide to learn Keptn and to explore it and to get familiar with all the use cases that we provide.
That's actually awesome. I was trying to look at that guide. I'll get started like installing that. Okay.
All right, I just leave you a note here. Keptn docs. You find keptn.sh/docs, and the tutorials, they are available on this page.
Okay. And something more about like webhook, like basically what you expect in that event. Like I will later ask that. It's okay.
Okay, yeah. Then task-related questions. Also feel free to ask them on Slack, by pinging Jürgen or me, and then we are happy to help out for task-related questions.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Does this help and answer your question?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. Thanks. All right. I think then we are we are through this meeting. Really great stuff that we saw today. Really looking forward to the next release to get this also then rolled out. Are there any questions or is the feedback? Question. Oh, thanks, Elizabeth, for sharing the Slack channel. I also will this post here in the document to help out finding the right person.
This Slack is different from C and CF1. Like you have the channel in C and CF1.
That's true. Yeah, we have two Slack channels. One, this is the Keptn Slack, where also more channels are open. One for general questions, then one for announcements and so on. And then we have just one channel on the CNCF space where we just post announcements and things that are going on in the community. But our active Slack channel is that one that is provided here. It's slack.keptn.sh. Please follow this link and then join this particular Slack workspace, and then you find the channels in there.
Okay, sure.
All right. Yeah. When there are no further questions, then thanks for the presentations again, and see you then next time, next week with Skip, meaning in 2 weeks, then next Thursday in 2 weeks. All right. Have a nice day. See you then. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye.